It is that happy time of the week. It's time for Wise Guys, and look who's back. Blaine Fowler, after the United Kingdom had you for 2 weeks, and now Wise Guys get you back. I'm Dave McCann, and you know what? It's football time.
It's football time. Now that I put tennis behind me, because I was at Wimbledon, and Brenda and I had center court seats in the stadium for that crazy women's semifinal day when the United States player, what is it?
I don't know.
Asimova?
I didn't follow it.
Anyhow, she's from New Jersey. Her parents are from Russia, but she grew up in New Jersey. I love that this little Jersey girl, out of nowhere, takes down the #1 player in the world, Sabalenka. I think it's Anisimova is how you say it. But what an unbelievable match. And Brendan and I were there in Wimbledon, sitting courtside. Amazing. It's Brenda's top bucket list thing to do, and we made it happen.
Nice job. It's good to do that before the season.
And so we got a little tennis out of our system, and now we're ready to be all football all the time. That is until October when basketball starts, right? And then we'll be basketball and football.
On the stream already tonight, there's Nick from Pensacola, Florida, Mike from Huntsville, Alabama, Ridgecrest, California. I saw
Ruth and Harriman.
D-Mice from the Navajo Nation. There's a first for the Navajo
Nation.
Nation.
In from the Peaks Ice Center for Mammoth Week.
All right. Michael from Beaumont, Texas. And there's Lexington, Kentucky. Mark, good to have you. David from, what do we call that?
Ojai, California.
Ojai, California. Yeah. David, good to see you.
I'm loving that. Yes, we have Cougar fans down in the Navajo Nation. I'm loving that.
Paul from the Cache Valley, as we welcome you to the largest live stream show for BYU sports in the whole world. Presented by
Lexington, Kentucky.
Brady plus Eddie and Mountain America Credit Union, distributed by the Deseret News. New podcast out tomorrow, wherever you get your podcasts. They're coming in hot. There's Laramie, Wyoming, Taylorsville, Utah, Tooele,
a lot of enemy
Utah.
territory, but those are friendlies in enemy territory.
That's right.
So, hey, make sure you subscribe to our free email at wiseguys.com. Watch all of our past content when you log in there at wiseguys.com. We'd love it for you to hit the free subscribe button on your YouTube channel as well. That helps us keep things rolling, along with our great sponsors. And speaking of sponsors, Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus. Brady Plus provides cleaning, food service, and packaging equipment, dispensers, and service repairs with over 150 distribution facilities across the country, over 6,000 employees. Learn more at bradyplus.com.
That's awesome. Mountain America Credit Union, helping people achieve their financial dreams for over 80 years. Whether you're buying a home, planning for retirement, or managing daily expenses, Mountain America has the tools, technology, and guidance to help you succeed. There's a lot of information waiting for you at macu.com. Nathan Anderson was on the show last week. We had a fun story at Deseret.com about his adventures he shared with us. You ought to go check that out. We love Mountain America Credit Union.
Yeah, and if you're a BYU fan, Mountain America's for BYU fans, that's for sure, because there's a bunch of BYU folks there, and they're a great friend of the show, and they're great friends of ours. And also presented by Eddie. HR and payroll software built for small businesses. Whether you run a dental office in Spanish Fork, Utah, a construction crew in Lehigh, Eddie helps you hire, onboard, track time, run payroll, all in one place. Simple, local, reliable, built by business owners who believe people come first. See how Eddie can serve your team at Eddie.com.
Deseret News. Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News and Deseret.com, Utah's newspaper since 1950. All right. Stan's in from Burley, Idaho. James is in from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So we've got the Gem State covered. How about Hawaii?
Yeah, Waialua, Hawaii. Thank you very much. I want to go over and play golf in Waialua.
And then right next to Hawaii, Jim's in from Angier, North Carolina.
Yeah, there you go.
That's as far away from America that you can be from each other.
We're coast to coast and out to the Pacific Islands. And in Utah, we're in Cache Valley, in Tooele, you name it, we're all over. And then we're even up in Laramie and Lexington, Kentucky right now.
So is everybody stoked for football? Fall camp is tomorrow. The team reports. Blaine's going to go over the schedule for this week, so you'll know exactly what they're up to. But that's certainly our focus tonight as fall camp begins.
Yeah, also tomorrow, after further review. You and I and Dave Nixon have our season premiere tomorrow on the BYUtv app. This is our 12th season, or is it our 11th season? 12th season.
A dozen.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, we're gonna do a touchdown show tomorrow.
It's gonna be so much fun.
We're gonna show you all the scoring plays, all the touchdown plays from last season. And let me tell you this. our inaugural show last season, not inaugural, but our first show of last season, there were not as many touchdowns.
Yeah, it was shorter.
It was a much shorter show. This is a lot more fun show. So
the NFL returns on Thursday with the first game of the preseason. We'll run down the list of Cougars in the NFL as we dive into the preseason schedule, and we'll try to keep tabs on them through this next month. And hopefully they can make some rosters, and we'll know where to look for them on TV.
It feels like everything is just starting right now.
Yeah,
we go right from Wimbledon to football season. Women's soccer is going to be the first team out of the gate to kick off the new athletic year at BYU. Head coach Jen Rockwood is going to be with us on the air tonight.
That's cool. Gary's here from Provo, says, Dave, you're awesome. You know why he said that? Because he's an Orem Tiger.
So, and I do
That's
like
exactly
Jim
why.
Williamson said, welcome back, Blaine. So thank you for that, Jim.
So camp opens tomorrow. What's going down? What's going to happen with the players?
Yeah, so tomorrow is really kind of an administrative day. So they don't go out and practice tomorrow at all. It's a reporting day. And I remember reporting day. You have physicals, you do all kinds of things like that. And all the administrative teams. So Kalani has this big meeting with the whole team where he basically talks about the theme. He talks about the vision of the program. He talks about he always, every time they have a big team meeting.
So his big speech of the year is tomorrow?
It's his big speech of the year, and he talks about the honor code and how you honor the honor code and how you honor your teammates. And so he is going to set the tone and the vision for this team in that first big team meeting to kick off the season and talk about expectations. And I'm sure he's going to put a chip right on their shoulders in that first meeting, because
do you think he's going to say they don't know?
They don't know but they about to find out.
Do you think he's going to say that?
I hope he does say it, because when we had that live of him in the pregame, I got fired up. I almost ran out on the field. You guys had to restrain me from running out on the field. But he'll get these guys fired up. And, BYU, after last season, had a lot of respect. People were kind of including him in their preseason top 12. And then all of a sudden, Jake Retzloff's transferring out. Mm-hmm. And no mention of them in anybody's top 25. Don't you think Kalani's going to use that like he did last year? Nobody respects you. Let's go prove everybody wrong. And the team played like a team of destiny with a chip on their shoulder all year long. I kind of like the position they're in right now. And I'm certain that he'll put a chip squarely on their shoulder in that meeting. But he's also going to talk to them about what being a member of BYU football, that this team means, and what being a great teammate means, and how they represent the university. All of these things will be covered in that meeting with Kalani. And then they have meetings with compliance about, hey, here's all the rules and things. Make sure you stay out of trouble, and you're in line with NCAA stuff and all of that. Then they'll break up and have position meetings and do all that kind of stuff. So tomorrow is a day of meetings and setting the tone for what's to come. And then Wednesday is the first day of practice. And every day there's just one practice. They don't do two-a-days like the old days. The NCAA limited that several years ago. Like in the old days, we used to have two-a-days every day for 6 weeks. No two-a-days. You practice once a day. You lift. So you have workouts and you alternate lifting. You have position-specific meetings. You have unit meetings like defensive and offensive meetings. But the first 2 days of practice, Wednesday and Thursday, will just be in helmets.
Okay.
First observation day for media for us to go is Wednesday.
Yeah.
They'll just be in helmets. They'll be running through things. They still can do 7-on-7, and throw and cover and, run through things those first 2 days. But it's kind of a conditioning period or an acclimation period. On Friday, they will go in shells. And when we say shells, that means helmets and shoulder pads, but no pads on lower body. That will be Friday and Saturday. Their first full padded practice, when they're in full football uniforms, head to toe, will be Monday. So 2 days in just helmets, 2 days in shells, and then Monday's full go. And so Monday, the first scrimmage, and Kalani always keeps this a little bit fluid, but would be scheduled for a week from Saturday. Would be the first where they're going to maybe tackle people to the ground and really get after it. Keep in mind, when you're just in shells, so on Friday and Saturday of this week, they get after it pretty good, because even when you're in full pads, when you're playing against your own team, you tell everybody to stay high. You don't cut block anybody. You don't hit anybody below the waist. You don't tackle anybody below the waist, because you're trying to preserve the health of your team. So really, once you get in shells, you're kind of full go anyhow. And then when you get in pads, it just kind of picks things up a little bit, because almost the mentality that, hey, we're in full football uniforms right now, but they're still not going to hit anybody below the waist because they're going to try to keep healthy. And Kalani's done a really good job the last 2 fall camps of keeping kids healthy. So knock on wood, these desks are big wood tables here that they are able to stay healthy, because that's part of the success they had last year was how healthy they stayed. So.
Looking on the stream, John, I cleaned the temple last Monday with Eddie Stinnett. Only problem, found out yesterday I was supposed to clean on Wednesday instead of Monday. How about Eddie Stinnett throwing that touchdown pass to Steve Young to beat Missouri in the Holiday Bowl? The Mackeys are in from Drummond, Montana. They said, we figured out how to pick sugar snap peas in the garden and listen to wise guys at the same time.
See, that's a great, multitasking is encouraged.
That's
here.
cool.
So we appreciate that, Mackeys.
There's Charlottesville, Virginia.
I'm coming up to Montana in a couple weeks, but I'm coming to Bozeman. So I don't know how close that is to Drummond, but I'll be up in your state, right? So
Marco from American Fork fills in from Cedar Park, Texas. There's Sylvia from Wisconsin. Steve Lutz from Hobble Creek. Hope you're playing golf. And
there's no place better than Hobble Creek golf course in the fall.
Yeah.
When the colors are changing.
Except for Riverside.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And Treyson is lastly from Charlottesville, Virginia, home of the University of Virginia. Our son went to law school there. What a beautiful community Charlottesville, Virginia is. Holy cow, it's a beautiful place.
Debbie's in from Vernal. And Sylvia's keeping us posted on the Cubs-Brewers game tonight, with the Cubs leading 3-0 in the first.
And Debbie, by the way, checking in from Vernal, that was Brandon Judd's article was curious to me too. Are you kidding me, Brandon Judd? 8th for BYU? Are you not even studying what BYU has coming back? That's all I have to say about that. I was very surprised that he had him 8th.
That seems pretty skeptical. I'm skeptical of that. Some storylines for camp. Did you know there was a quarterback battle that's about to happen? Treyson Bourguet, McCae Hillstead, Bear Bachmeier. If we're kicking off in 15 minutes, you are starting who?
Hillstead.
If we're kicking off in 2 weeks, you're starting.
It could be Treyson.
Yeah. And if we're kicking off in 5 weeks,
it absolutely could be Bear.
You've covered all the bases.
And here's the thing. We talk about this sometimes where we go into fall camp. And remember, I don't know if it was Zach's junior year. It's like, well, there's a quarterback battle. It'll be Zach. I can't remember who it was against. And
was it Jaron?
Maybe it was Jaron. We're like,
I think it was.
Come on. It's Zach. Like, we all knew it was Zach, right?
Yeah.
And A-Rod made it. He knew it was Zach too, but they were wanting to have a little bit of a quarterback competition because they wanted them to push each other, right? This is the first time in a while where A-Rod doesn't know either. Like, I'm telling you, he doesn't know.
Yeah. Because
nobody grabbed that job by the throat, the backup job during this last spring. They had good days and bad days. Both of them did. And I think A-Rod feels really comfortable with the two that are coming back. And I know he thinks that Bear Bachmeier is wildly talented, but he's young. But truly, neither of them stood head and shoulders above the other. So this is a real, full-on, 3-man quarterback battle for the first probably 10 days of practice.
It's going to be fun to cover.
And they're going to rotate it, and they're going to have them, all 3 of them play against that number 1 defense, equal reps, and we'll see who can play. And guess what? They're playing against the number 1 defense in the Big 12 from last year. So this will be a good challenge, and whoever can take care of the ball and manage this offense will be handed the football for game 1.
Jeff Thompson checking in from Puget Sound. I was in the stands at the Holiday Bowl where Steve Young caught that TD pass from Eddie Stinnett. Jet, nice to have you on the stream. There's Idaho Cougar fan from Weiser, Idaho. By the way, that's the home of Hans Olsen. He'll be on the show with us.
There you go.
Coming up a few weeks. Garion from Saudi, Daly, Tennessee.
Wow.
And there's London, Ontario. Greg, good to see you with us while you're on vacation up there in hot, muggy, beautiful London, Ontario. So we throw a big net. Monday nights, we throw a big net.
Jay Beer's lifelong fan, grew up going to games with my family. Was at the BYU Miami game, watching Ty tear up the U on LaBelle Edwards Stadium. So, yeah, we're all getting excited for this to start. You know, we talked about the quarterbacks, but the receiver rotation, you got a couple of new guys. Reggie Frischknecht, who's made a big impression in off-season workouts. Tiger Bachmeier, who's maybe one of the smartest players on the team, has just picked this offense up, and player run practices in just a couple weeks. You and I were with Chase Roberts out playing golf a couple weeks ago, and Chase was just saying, this dude's like crazy smart, Tiger Bachmeier, and he can play.
And remember, Parker Kingston was here on the show, and he talked highly about both those guys, going, hey, they're not trying to get in on plays. They're in the mix.
Right.
They're in the rotation.
Yeah, it's a very deep wide receiver, very talented wide receiver room for BYU. And, you know, when we talk about this quarterback battle, the nicest thing is, and you had Max Hall on the other day, Was it last week Max was on?
Last week.
And, Max talked about the fact that when he played as a sophomore without any starting experience, he had great players all around him, so all he had to do was manage the game. And he recognized that. That's the case this year. It's a very good offensive line, a deep running back room, and a crazy deep wide receiver room. They're good at tight end. They're not as deep as we'd like them to be. A couple of new additions, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So whoever gets this job, Dave, has tons of weapons, and he's going to have a phenomenal defense to keep giving them the ball.
Yeah, this is a good time to be one of the new guys.
Yeah.
Trent's in from Orem, Utah. David's in from Heber City. And we welcome. This is why we do this show, is so that Cougar fans can hop online and join us from all over the world. And we see that every week. And tonight we're right out of the gate from far and near. And we love it. How about that offensive line? You got Andrew Gentry, one of the newcomers. You got a new center for the most part, right? With Mitchell moving over as Connor Pays moving on. And we've had Andrew Gentry on the show. He's ready to go. Transfer from Michigan. That's a huge offensive line. One thing Max said is he was a small quarterback, and so he had to work hard to see around, find his lanes.
Yeah, throwing lanes.
And these quarterbacks will have to do that too. We're talking like 6'7" across the board.
Yeah, Isaiah's Jada. Like if we're looking at the offensive line, you got Isaiah Jada, who's likely starter at left tackle. I think Isaiah's 6'7" or 6'8". You got Waylon Lapuahu, and I think Jada's about 320.
320.
Right? And then you got Waylon Lapuahu, who I think is 6'5" or 6'6". And he's 315, 320 pounds. Bruce Mitchell is at center. He's the little guy at 6'4", 305. Like he's the little guy.
Come on, Bruce.
But Bruce is wildly talented and super smart and played so well last year when Connor was out. They're really excited about Bruce. At that right guard, you got two guys that played a bunch of snaps last year and both started, Austin Leusa and Sonny Mocassini, both 300-pound plus, 6'5", 6'6" guys. And they got Andrew Gentry at 6'6", 6'7" at right tackle at 315 pounds. That's a massive offensive line. But think about the experience. Bruce Mitchell started. Austin Leusa started. Mocassini started. Waylon Lapuahu has started. And then Jada started a couple of games last year. You got four guys, or five, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that have started games at BYU in the past. And then you got Andrew Gentry transferring in from Michigan, who's had great experience there. It's an experienced group. And this is year 2 with TJ as the offensive line coach. Now these guys really understand this system. Look for the offensive line to take a massive step forward. That is really going to help these quarterbacks.
You bet it is. Neil's in from Tucson. Jay Beers from West Jordan, Utah. Andrea is on the stream from Harriman. Tom from Vallejo, California. We welcome everybody. Let us know where you're watching the show. And if you have questions, throw them at us. David Nixon's coming up. Coach Jen Rockwood's coming up tonight as we delve into the week of everything coming back. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're at. And we talk about the D-line. We're going to ask Nix about that too. Keanu Tanuvasa is the big new face on the defense.
And he's a huge addition to this defensive line. Keanu has a chance to be one of the best defensive players on this team, period, at any position. What really stood out to me in spring ball was not just how talented he is. And you can just go watch film of him last year at Utah and you can see how talented he is. His leadership for a brand new guy, like leaders have guys just flock around him and want to be around him. Mm-hmm. And that's Keanu. He's just got this, this personality that makes people want to be around and follow what he's doing. And he's finishing first in every drill and stepping to the front of the line in every drill. And immediately on stepping on campus, he became the leader of that defensive line, which I think is impressive. You know what is nice? When your best player is also your best leader in a position group. And that doesn't always happen. And I think they have that with Keanu Tanuvasa. And then you got John Tamapeo, who's also a big guy that played a lot of snaps last year at defensive tackle. You got Logan Latui, who's been a starter for a couple years at defensive end. Here's a name that I'm going to tell you, Vil Pua. This is Sione Pua's son. He's gained about 30 pounds in the offseason. He was a very talented young freshman last year. This guy has NFL potential just like his dad. They've moved him to defensive end. He could be a terror at defensive end. Bodie Schoonover is my Mengelson for this year. He's also playing defensive end, can play inside. He's one of those bring your lunch pail, just beat up on people on the defensive line. You got Hunter Clegg back from his mission.
Yeah.
He's got to get his mission legs back and do all that. But before the season's over, he could have a huge impact. You got Orion Kafusi, who's a big guy on the defensive line. Tassili Akana, who's a big rush defensive end coming off of an injury, Texas transfer. Sani Tuwala, who's a freakish athlete. Purcell, a defensive tackle. And then Justin Kirkland, a transfer from Oklahoma State. So people are concerned about the defensive line. I'll tell you, they are loaded at defensive end. They're a little thin right now at defensive tackle. They can't afford to have a bunch of guys get hurt at defensive tackle, but they have tremendous talent, especially with Keanu Tanuvasa there. So Keanu's going to be a storyline. Have to keep that guy healthy. I love his leadership as much as I love his talent, and he's crazy talented.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting just to see it all play out. Robert is on the stream from Saratoga Springs. Good to have you on board with us. A couple of thoughts in there. One, Jay Bears was saying, hey, who are you guys picking to start at quarterback? We picked all three over the course of...
It depends on how long it is.
But who throws the best ball that you've seen thus far? I haven't seen Bachmeier throw except for on video.
Right.
And same thing for the other two. We've seen him in practice, but you know, Hillstead chucked it deep when he was at Utah State.
McCae has when you watch McCae, and I've stood behind both McCae and Treyson throwing the ball and just watched them. I stood with John Beck when they worked out one time. And Hillstead is, the first couple times I watched him throw, I actually went, whoa. Like, this little dude can huck it. Yeah. Like, he has, for a guy that's like 5'10", he has tremendous velocity. Like, he has a hose on that right arm, and he can really throw it. He can make every throw. Treyson's a little bit bigger. Treyson's more like the 6'2", 205, prototypical quarterback size. He can make every throw. I think the hardest throw to make is that long comeback route where the receiver goes like they're going deep, and in 18 yards puts their feet in the ground and comes back to the sideline. So it's a long throw outside 18 yards. You can't put any air under the ball on this. It can't be lofted. It has to be a rope. Both of those guys can make that throw regularly, no problem. I haven't seen Bear throw. I'll see him throw this week. Yeah. But I've talked to people that watched them. John Beck has worked out with them, and he can make every throw on the field too. All these guys have plenty of arm strength. That's not what is going to be what determines who plays. Because right now, with the talent they have on offense, they need the guy that will execute the offense and not turn the ball over this year. Those guys can maybe carry the team next year or the year after if they need to. They do not need a quarterback to carry the team. They need a quarterback to not make fatal errors out on the field.
Just manage the show.
Manage the game. That's what you got to do.
You're out there, the ringmaster of the circus.
So it's not going to be, because they all have plenty of arm strength. Yeah. They're all very athletic. McCae Hillstead is like really fast, like Jaron Hall fast. So if the three of them take off and break containment, McCae's probably the most likely to run 60 yards for a touchdown. But they're all going to go get you a first down. So they're all athletic. Bear's a big dude. Like, he's the thick, big kid that can run over some people. And like I said, Treyson's more prototypical guy. So they all have, they all have the arm strength. This is going to be a battle. Like the great Vicini, it's a battle of wits. It's who's going to be the smartest guy, who's going to read the defenses and have that processing speed that allows them to get the ball out on time in the right spots. Not who can throw the most pretty ball or who has the biggest arm strength or any of that. Doesn't really matter. If that mattered, then Tom Brady wouldn't be the greatest quarterback in the history of the game, and Steve Young wouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
Hey, you have a chance to meet the team and the quarterbacks, and you can ask them yourself who's winning the quarterback battle on Wednesday, August 6th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Helaman Fields right there on campus. Public's welcome, no cost to get in. Should be a lot of fun. You can buy some stuff when you're in there, food and this and that, be music. And anyway, meet the team Wednesday, August 6th. That's just around the corner. Our friend Kyle Van Noy.
Oh, I loved this. By
the way, you can see our interview with Kyle at wiseguys.com. But he was getting a haircut over the weekend after the first week of Ravens camp, and he thought, hey, I'm gonna take some questions while I'm getting the trim, and people, some folks wrote in and said, how do you see the season going? And he just went game by game.
He went every game. He just took his phone out, went through the schedule, goes, oh, that's a win, that's what. I like that he had BYU beating Utah twice next season. Right? So as he went through the schedule, he came up with a 10-2 regular season. Then he had him playing Utah in the Big 12 championship game and had him beating him again to go 11-2.
And then he had him going on to the national championship.
The losses that he had for them were at Iowa State and at Texas Tech, which is fair, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a back-to-back, isn't it?
Yeah. So he felt, When he said going to the national championship, he means going to the college football playoff. He felt like they were going to the college football playoff this next year with an 11-2 after winning the conference championship game and beating Utah twice. And he just
good.
said, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Thanks, Kyle.
I loved it.
Deion Sanders announcing some good news today. Called a press conference and declared he is cancer-free and he's ready for the season. Been dealing with some bladder issues that are going to linger, but they got the cancer and he's good to go. We congratulate him. Deion will host BYU on September 27th in the Big 12 opener. And let's be honest, Deion has brought more pizzazz to the Big 12 than Colorado could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And played him in the bowl game. Of course, the whole game and the week was Deion. And it's going to be all about Deion in the rematch. But BYU go out there and smack Deion's guys around, and they're just fine with it.
You know what? I love who Deion is. You think about the flash and all of that. And I've talked to Kalani in private about it. Kalani really likes Deion.
Yeah.
And Deion, I get the sense, really likes Kalani too. Because deep down, all of that flash, behind all that, Deion's a very religious, Christian guy that cares about the kids. And he just has a flair to him. And he's good for the game, And he respects Kalani and the way he does things. And Kalani respects that Deion, the way he does things. And so it's kind of fun to have a coach in the league like Deion Sanders. I like him.
And Deion, Deion gets eyeballs.
Yeah.
People watch his football team. He gives great sound bites. Yeah. And rarely does he condescend anyone that's not a reporter who's asked a question.
A dumb question. And I'm trying to remember when Tom Homo came on the show with us here, didn't he talk to us about when he had when he was coaching the DBs with the Niners, and it was a Super Bowl year, and he didn't even know that they had traded and gotten Deion, and that they signed Deion. And then he saw, and I think this was on the show. Everybody's got to go back on the Wise Guys and find Tom Homo and look at it.
It was in the post game. He's talking to his DBs, and Deion and his entourage come walking through the locker room, and he looks back and he goes,
"What's Deion doing here?"
And then he goes to Bill Walsh, I think it was, or
it might have been George Seifert.
And goes, "How am I supposed to coach Deion?"
And George says, "Don't worry about it. Like, you just tell him what to do, and he'll do it." And then Tom told us that Deion was one of the most prepared players that he ever coached at any level. That Deion, when they would go to their team meetings, he would have a scouting report on every player. Like, he would not only watch film, he would call the teams that had played against this team in previous weeks and ask them for little nuggets about each player. And then he would hand out like a scouting report on every player that they were going to defend to the entire secondary. Tom says he's going to be a good coach because his attention to detail and his effort off the field to be prepared, like all this flash, like he's not like, who was the 76ers shooting guard that said, practice? We talk about practice.
Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson. He wasn't an Allen Iverson guy. Deion was a prep guy.
Yeah.
And I think, so the people that know him behind the scenes know he's a lot of flash and glitz, but he works hard to prepare, and then he just goes out and promotes the heck out of his team, and it's good for the league. So I'm all about Deion. I think he's great for the league.
David Nixon is coming up here in a few minutes, our BYUtv football analyst. We're going to get his 5 storylines heading into fall camp, which starts tomorrow. Kelly Ford came out with his preseason power rankings. ESPN's power rankings that they put out after the spring, they've kind of not updated that. So you look at BYU still like number 9.
Right.
So I'm curious to see when they reboot that. Well, Kelly Ford comes out with his power rankings. You got Texas number 1, and they'll probably be number 1 when the AP comes out.
With a great quarterback.
Then he ranks the power rankings of the Big 12, and he starts with Kansas State. They're the highest at 21.
Right, and then Arizona State at 22.
Yeah.
So remember, Kansas State had really high expectations last year.
Super high. They were 13th when they came in here.
And then Baylor at 26. Baylor has a lot of, because they got a lot of guys coming back.
And their quarterback.
Right, and then BYU at 36.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I think they're better than that. I think they're in the top 3 in the league. Unlike, our local reporter that says they're 8th.
They're 8th. Well, the preseason AP poll is going to be released in a couple weeks. Where do you think BYU will be?
I think they'll probably be in the 30s like this.
Yeah.
Everybody puts so much stock in the fact that Jake was going to be a senior quarterback. And hey, it does hurt that you don't have a veteran guy.
Sure.
We were all hopeful that Jake would have learned from the mistakes he made last year because he played really good at times. There were times that he made bad decisions that were very costly. And what you hope when you get a senior quarterback coming back is you learn from those things. You don't make those same mistakes, and you're even better. So does it hurt that Jake's gone? Yeah, it does because of that, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like Treyson and McCae have been here long enough that they can manage games. And that's all BYU. As good as I think they'll be on defense and as talented as they are, if the quarterback cannot make mistakes and get the ball to playmakers, which BYU's got a stack of them, especially at wide receiver, I don't think they drop off that far in terms of number of wins. So
remember, if we were doing this show, if we were doing Wise Guys when Ty was here, the keys to these games would be got to score 40 points. Ty's got to be great.
Yeah.
Ty's got to throw for 400 yards.
They score 30.
Yeah. But it's so different now. And even Max, again, talked about it last year. He goes, this team's built to withstand something like this and still contend.
Yeah.
Now, ESPN came out with their swing games for the teams in the top 25, and BYU still in the top 25. But their analogy here is with Jake gone, and they go, hey, our swing game is West Virginia.
Yeah, game 5, right? So basically what they're saying is if BYU starts out 4-0, which we would expect them to do, right?
Yeah.
That's a swing game. West Virginia, big physical football team that can run it right at you.
You got them at home. Conference weekend.
You go 5-0 to start the season, and everybody's going, oh, you know what?
They are that good.
Just like last year, we underestimated them. They're really good on defense again, and this quarterback situation is better than we thought it was. Maybe they are a contender. That's what with ESPN, and I wouldn't disagree with that.
No.
I think BYU goes undefeated in the preseason schedule. Everybody's going to go, well, they were supposed to.
Right.
They're just bigger and stronger and faster than those teams. And so you get to
Colorado
5-0
on ESPN, then you come back on ESPN.
Yeah.
And you take West Virginia and you're 5-0.
Then people are going, okay, this looks like BYU from last year.
And then you jump up in the polls and make up for any time lost. By the way, Cougar Stats, which they post really cool stuff on X, and they posted this. Over the last 50 years, BYU's appeared in the final AP poll of the season 13 times, including last year, when also unranked in the preseason polls. That's more than any other program. And you go back to 1984, not even ranked, and you guys finished number 1.
Right.
So you can leapfrog
why,
a bunch of teams if you win.
I have a theory to why that is that BYU's.
Yeah, what is it?
Here's the translation of that. BYU's the most disrespected preseason team over that time period. If they finished in the AP top 25, having been ranked or not ranked to start season more than anybody else, then they're the most underrated. I'm not going to say disrespected, the most underrated team over that period of time. Is that an accurate jump?
Yeah, sure.
And here's the reason. The national pundits that do all the voting, it's too much for them to keep track of all the comings and goings for BYU. Even BYU's own fans. Like, I keep telling people, when they ask me about the wide receivers, I go, well, you got Chase Roberts. Like, yeah, of course. Well, and Parker Kingston and JoJo. And I go, well, and Cody. They go, Cody. And I go, Cody Hagan.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Cody Hagan. Like, and then I go, do you forget that he was like the number 1 rated wide receiver in the Western United States coming out of high school, but it was 3.5 years ago and he went on a mission?
Everybody wanted him.
Everybody forgot about him. He runs a 10-400 meters. He has big catch radius and he doesn't drop balls. And he came back last year and he was getting his mission legs back and he was out there and then he had some injury issues because he was back from a mission. And now he's been back a whole year. I am not going to be surprised if he explodes and everybody's like, whoa. Yeah. Where did this kid come from?
Where they hide him?
Yeah, well, where's he been? And everybody's going to forget that we were jumping for joy when he chose BYU over huge programs, including Oregon. Right?
That's right.
And that's what they have a hard time with.
Yeah.
And we're talking about some, like Hunter Clegg. Hunter Clegg was a big time recruit coming out of high school, and he's back. And they forget about these kids, and when they come back from their mission, they have a year to settle in. The Kafusi boys, Ace and Micah, right? The cousins. Those kids put on 20 pounds in the offseason. Ace Kafusi is going to be a dynamite linebacker this year, and everybody's going to say, whoa, where did that dude come from? I'll tell you where he came from. We were thrilled that we got him 3 years ago. And so I think the mission thing and the coming and going, people lose track of the talent that BYU stockpiled. Now, this class this year that they've just signed for next year has ridiculous talent in it. But what do you bet? 3 years from now, when those kids are all coming back, and we're going to forget how amazing this class was, and everybody's going to be surprised 4 years from now when they're really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a report today from Rivals ranking the number one player in every state, and Ryder Lyons was the number one player in California.
Yeah.
There's a few players in California.
Yeah.
He's number one.
But people will forget, and then they're going, how are these guys this good? Who's this Ace Kafusi guy? Who's this Cody Hagan kid?
Like, and that's why we're here, just to help you along.
The Vil Pua kid, where did he come from? The Pua kid.
Yeah.
Well, his dad happened to be a 10-year NFL guy, and he had the same potential as dad, but he went on a mission, and he came back, and he's grown back in, people forget. And that's why BYU is always underrated, and that's okay. I think Kalani loves it.
By the way, Blair is on the stream tonight, going down I-15 through the Cajon Pass. Now, look, Blair, just keep your eye on the road, and everyone's driving 1,000 miles an hour. You just got to get to, what city is it where you can get to In-N-Out Burger as you get through the Cajon Pass? Is it Baker?
I think it's Baker.
Something like that. Go to In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah, get yourself a burger.
Tell them Dave and Blaine sent you from the Wise Guys. They'll probably charge you a few more bucks, but it'll be worth it. Anyway, drive safely.
Just get a double protein style, animal style.
Sounds good. That does sound good. Hey, Clint on the stream from Westlake Village, California says, keep BYU underdogs all the time so we can have motivation to win on the field and help some of us with our wagers. Thanks, Clint. Love the show. And then Joel, interesting take on the comings and goings. Yeah, the commits that leave, returning missionaries, players that are LES, the honor code, etc. There's a lot of pieces to this puzzle.
Well, when Tennessee signs kids, they come and they play the next year, or their freshman year, but they're playing as sophomores, and people remember they were just a 5-star recruit last year, and so they don't have that problem. Like, man, Tennessee's loaded. Baylor, everybody's high on Baylor because they have a lot of guys coming back, and they had a good class last year.
Yeah.
Well, if those kids all left on missions for 2 years, people wouldn't 3 years from now be going, well, Baylor's loaded because the class they had 3 years ago. Nobody remembers that stuff. So, yeah. So thanks, Joel, for understanding what I'm talking about. I went on and on and on, but I appreciate you doing that.
So Fox Sports came out with their top 10 biggest college football rivalries of all time, and I thought this was the first poll of this nature that respected BYU and Utah.
Yes.
So let's run down the top 10. Let us know what you think, or as you're listening, you can discuss with your friends as we do it. But of course, they have Michigan, Ohio State number one.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I am going to agree with that one. I went to a Michigan Ohio State game in the Horseshoe at Ohio State. My senior year, we had a bye. I went out on a recruiting visit, and that is something. It is something. They hate each other, I think, worse than BYU and Utah hate each other.
It's a different kind. And it's not a religious hate. It's just raw hate.
They just hate each other.
Just raw hate.
And the stadiums are both massive, and the stakes are big. And they're two teams that compete for national championships every year.
The loser's out more often than not.
I have no problem with that one.
So number 2's Auburn against Alabama.
Yeah, it's a great rivalry, and it's good. And you know what? The Auburn's kind of tailed off a little bit in recent years, and so it's not. It used to be those teams, like I'm thinking back in the Bo Jackson days, and when those two teams were like Michigan and Ohio State, where they're currently competing for national championships, and Alabama fell off a little bit this last year, but it's still a great rivalry. I have no problem with that one at number 2.
Oklahoma, Texas in at number 3. Been playing a long time.
That's a big one.
Number 4 is Army, Navy.
And here, I don't want to take anything away from it. I don't think it's.
I wouldn't put it 4, but it's a big game.
It's huge. It's top 10, and I respect that game more than any other game because I respect the players on the field more than it. When both teams are what they do when they're done playing football, you got to respect that game, and the pageantry of that game and the history of that game has it squarely in the top 10. I don't know if I have that one number 4.
Here's number 5, which I don't agree with. Notre Dame, USC. You know, I never hear USC going, we just got to beat Notre Dame. They got UCLA, they got Oregon they got to contend with.
See, that used to be a game that seemed to have national championship implications for years and years and years, and then USC kind of fell off for a while.
Yeah.
And that hurt. And then Notre Dame fell off for a while. If we go back in history, it was a huge game, and historically it's a great game.
Definitely big, for sure. Top 10 rivalries?
I don't know.
I don't know if that one's there. Well, number 6, Florida State, Miami.
Florida State's kind of, they've had one good year in the last year.
Disappeared.
Yeah. And Miami was on fire for a number of years. And when Bobby Bowden was at Florida State, that was one of the greatest programs, and they were on a roll. They were a dynasty happening. So I would say, and it is a big rivalry, and they recruit head-to-head on almost every single athlete. That's a big one. It's probably a top 10 one.
7 is Florida and Georgia. Florida's fallen off the map as of late, but that's always been
my feeling is
the
like
cocktail party or something like that.
I feel like Georgia, Alabama had more luster in the last, if I take the last decade, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Competing for SEC championships every year. So Florida's kind of fallen off.
Number 8, Fox Sports top 10 biggest college football rivalries of all time. They've got BYU Utah at number 8.
Yeah. And see, we have to take in context, all of these are probably fairer when we say of all time.
Because they've been playing a lot longer.
Of all time, right? When we're saying with recency, like Michigan, Ohio State's still number 1. It's all time, and it's still number 1 right now, right? Yeah. So,
BYU Utah, October 18th at LaVell Edwards Stadium. That 2-hour pregame show is going to be one for the ages.
Don't you love that it's a top 10 rivalry and everybody? Yeah. People know now.
Right behind BYU Utah, Fox has Texas A&M.
That's big that BYU Utah's ahead of Texas A&M because that's a pretty big rivalry.
Yeah, and then number 10, Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Yeah, that's old school SEC. Hey, I think BYU should be unbelievably proud that Fox Sports has them in the top 10. But we know how passionate, for lack of a better word, that rivalry is. Mm-hmm. If we're just talking about pure passion, it's as good as any in the country.
Yeah.
So it's a fun one.
So Fox College Sports, different from Fox Sports, they had a thing that was kind of cool that caught our eye. They went through the best ever to wear certain numbers.
Right.
Like 1 through 100. Well, we looked at 11 through 15. And I thought, okay, let's see what they've got there. And they've got Matt Leinart, who's a Fox analyst. He's in at number 11, wearing number 11.
Remember that
he's the guy.
And they were on a run at USC during those years.
Boy, did he have some guys around him.
Like that's the only time I've ever felt like maybe a college team could beat the worst team in the NFL, but they were so good.
So the best to wear number 11, according to Fox College Sports, is Matt Leinart. The best to wear number 12 is someone BYU just saw.
Yeah, Travis Hunter. Is he better than Roger Staubach, who wore 12 in college?
I don't know. Both won the Heisman, right? Hunter played both offense and defense.
That's probably what differentiated him. So 12 was great.
Okay. Who was the best to wear number 13?
Danny Marino.
At Pitt.
Yeah. He was great college quarterback. I watched Danny when I was in high school, real close to there.
Did he not finish just before you guys went back and beat him? Didn't he finish in 83?
Yeah, no, he was the year before. Yeah, because they won a national championship.
And they were ranked number 3 when you guys beat them. So there had to be some residue.
Danny, he might have been 2 years ahead because I thought it was Matt Cavanaugh that was playing quarterback of the national championship thing with Dorsett and those guys.
Okay.
They were loaded back in those days. But how about number 14?
The best to wear number 14 in the history of college football is Ty Detmer.
Love it.
And he threw for a bazillion yards, 121 touchdowns. He wins the Heisman at BYU, which totally was off the national radar of, Rocket Ismail had a couple of punt returns and that machine. It was Rocket against Ty, and Ty found a way to beat him for the Heisman Trophy. Yeah, was there a better number 14? Can you think of a better number 14?
The numbers don't lie, 15,000. It's ridiculous what he did. He rewrote the record book, so yes. And then number 15, since we're doing 11 to 15, Tim Tebow, Florida's quarterback.
He was good at Florida. He won a lot of games. Is he the best to ever wear number 15? Fox says yes.
I don't know many 15s.
Max
Hall.
I like Max.
I like Max too.
I like Max.
I have to say, Tim Tebow, Florida used him right. They had him part of the running game, and he was just mashing people out there.
Joel says on the stream, sorry, my quarterback is Riley Nelson, number 13.
There you go. Instead of Dan Marino, way to go, Joel.
The recruiting rankings for 2026, by the way, David Nixon's just a moment away. ESPN now, they're at 19, up from 20, and 24/7 Sports has them number 19.
When has BYU had a top 20 recruiting class?
Never.
Never is the right answer.
So now they're in the top 20 in both, and they've still got a couple of hooks in the water for some more guys.
Yeah, it's not done. They're not done.
Joel, by the way, David Nixon's coming up in a moment. We're going to ask him about Taysom.
Yeah.
So hang on with your question, and he'll give the answer. Our first guest tonight played linebacker at BYU and in the NFL and is a longtime football analyst on BYU TV and is co-host of After Further Review and BYU Sports Nation Game Day. Always a pleasure to welcome our friend David Nixon back to the Wise Guys. We taped this interview just a few minutes ago.
Nix, you know the season's close when you're at Little League football tryouts, right?
That's right, baby. Today's opening day. It's like Christmas for us football guys. My little guys are getting ready. Both of them are trying out, 11-year-old, 9-year-old up here in Corner Canyon. So as you guys know, I coach both teams. So listen, I'm excited. They're excited. I'm excited. Football is in the air.
Let's stay with the excitement. It's the night before BYU reports. It's also the night before we report for our 12th season of After Further Review. How you feeling about things?
I got goosebumps a little bit just thinking about it. Listen, I'm excited about this season, and I think a lot of this comes down to, looking back at last year, the BYU team had a chip on their shoulder. Nobody picked them to be even in the top half of the Big 12. This year, after what happens with Jake, people start counting BYU out again, and so I love this position that BYU is sitting in right now, where they are kind of being counted out. People kind of written them off, and I love that they're kind of the underdog. And for me, that's the story of going into camp is, can this BYU team do what they did last year, where they can channel that energy, channel that frustration where there's no respect, and can you go out there and prove the world wrong? And I think that's where the opportunity lies for this BYU team. I'm excited. You look about all the guys returning, all the guys that they added in the offseason. Man, it's an exciting time heading into this football season.
Yeah, we didn't think, Nix, that there was going to be the Kalani saying this year, because they'd be favored in every game, where he starts in the locker room with, they don't know, but they're about to find out, right? But we're going to hear some of that this year, and that'll be fun. Our show tomorrow night is the touchdown show. We always start with the touchdown show, where we look at every single touchdown from last season. And, man, there were way more of them last season than when we did AFR the season before. So this should be a fun show tomorrow night. Is there a favorite touchdown of yours from the entire season this last year?
Listen, for me, I'm a defensive guy, so I got to stick with my guys on defense. And I go look back at the scoop and score against Kansas State. Like, how do you not love that play? And I remember that was the other cool thing. That was a home game, so we were in the stadium, and that was in our end zone. And to hear the crowd go electric, and then to follow it up later with the interception, not too long after from Tyler Batty. I mean, that place just erupted. I will for always remember that scoop and score and the way that happened right before halftime, and gave you all the momentum, and they never gave it back.
I remember us three standing side by side at the Oklahoma State game, and we were all kind of solemn, like, what in the world? Like, a miracle's going to have to happen. And when he completed that ball, Darius, and he took it in the end zone, we just went nuts up on the set, because we could not believe what we just saw. That has to be mine from last season.
I was watching I was watching them all, because we review it before we do the show, and watching the clips tonight, and they go, oh, I forgot about that touchdown. Yeah. Oh, there was that one. Yeah. So tomorrow night we get to show them all and have a good time. It's a show that's guaranteed. When it's over, you feel good.
It feel good.
You had a bad day, watch the touchdown show. So
and we'll give a little teaser. A lot of familiar faces last year that were scoring touchdowns are back this year.
Yeah,
so that's exciting
that's
part
fun stuff
for this BYU football team.
Yep.
All right, one familiar face is not back, and that's Jake Retzlaff. So we have a true quarterback battle as camp starts. Treyson Bourguet, McCae Hillstead, and Bear Bachmeier. Blaine talked about it earlier. How do you see this playing out?
Well, listen, we talked about storylines. For me, this is kind of the storyline that everyone knows about, and I kind of put it at the back end of my storylines, because for me, it's front and center. When you talk to players on the team, nobody's quite certain who's going to be the starter, and candidly, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. The tone has been set on this team that the quarterback battle is wide open, and it kind of puts everybody else a little bit on edge. I feel like all the other positions, nobody feels safe, because the most important position is a quarterback battle and quarterback position, and that's up for grabs. So I like the edge that this provides this football team a little bit, knowing that you got to go out and compete. You got to go out and battle day in and day out, because the big guys, the quarterbacks, are having to do that. But ultimately, I don't think the coaches know. I don't think the players know. Right. It seems like it truly is a wide open battle. And I know we hear that lip service year in and year out, right? This is the open battle. But I think this is the first year where truly it's anybody's ball game.
That's such a good point, Nix, because in the past, like last year, we're going to have a battle for quarterback, and we're all going, it's Jake. Like, come on, stop it. It's Jake. This year, when A-Rod says, we're going to get these guys equal reps because I don't know which one of these three it's going to be, so I have to get them all reps against the number one defense. He's not lying this year. That's actually a true statement. So this will be fun to watch. BYU TV football analyst Dave Nixon's on the Wise Guys with us, presented by Brady Plus, Mountain America Credit Union, and Eddie. So one thing that hasn't been talked about is Bourguet and Hillstead have not only been in the system for a year, they've also been practicing against the number one defense in the Big 12 this whole past year. How is that going to help prepare those guys for this quarterback battle?
Yeah, listen, you want to face the best. And to your point, Blaine, you go back and look at BYU statistically, it was one of the best defenses, not only in the Big 12, but in the country. And you look at the returning production this BYU defense has, and these are guys that have been going against in spring ball and now all throughout the play around practices, off season, and they'll head into fall camp. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better look to give you in a stiffer competition than this BYU defense that these quarterbacks are going to have. And if you're a defensive player, listen, you're going to give him your best because you got to get the right guy ready. And the whole team, this whole team hinges on making the right pick for that quarterback position and ensuring that person that they ultimately pick is ready to go. And so if I'm a defensive player, I'm going out there and working actually extra hard because I want to make sure that they have all the tape, all the film, all the experience they need to look and make the best decision possible for the quarterback battle and position. So defensively, if I'm a D lineman, I'm rushing extra hard to try to get home and see how elusive this quarterback is or how can he handle the heat in the pocket. And if I'm a DB, I'm trying to lock down receivers to see, hey, he doesn't have a read. What's he going to do next? So defensively, I think you up your game even that much more, knowing that you need to have whichever quarterback it is, have the most experience, and you want the head coach, offensive coordinator, Roderick, everyone making sure they're making the right call.
Next, if there's an area on the defense, which again finished number one in the Big 12 in so many categories, that can get better here in fall camp for the opener and beyond, what area would that be?
I mean, for me, it's the defensive line. I think when you graduate the production that you did between Batty, Nelson, Mangelson, like how do you not take a step back? With that being said, you look at the transfer portal, what happened there, and with the young guys BYU's had in the system. I mean, I think this is a position they might actually upgrade at the end of the day, which is hard to say because when the season ended last year after Colorado after the bowl game, I remember thinking, man, we have got a huge offseason ahead of us to try to find replacements for those guys because not only were they big production guys, but great leaders on the defense, right? And you look at Mangelson, I mean, the guy just brought his lunch pail to work every day. You never saw him complain or want the limelight. He was just out there to work. And they all brought a little something different to that defense. So for me, the defensive line is one that I'm eyeing, trying to figure out how Kirkland and Tanuvasa, and then, of course, outside is really the big question mark. Which guys step up there? There's a lot of names when you look across the board, Logan Latui, Akana, Clegg, Paua. I mean, there's I probably butchered that, but there's a lot of guys who are in the mix that I'm interested to see who kind of emerges from that spot.
Yeah, Bodie Schoonover is my guy that has the same mentality that you were talking about, right? Yeah. He's that physical, bring your lunch pail kind of a guy. Pua. So it's Sione's son. And, man, they're very excited about him. He has a chance to be really, really good. He was just a youngin' last year. So a bunch of former Cougars are in the NFL, and they've started camp. And, in fact, the first game's this weekend, right?
Thursday.
Or this Thursday, which is crazy to even think about. Your brother-in-law, Taysom Hill, he started camp on the unable to physically perform list. So how soon could he be back after that knee injury from last year?
Yeah, I think that's a day-by-day type deal. I mean, I was actually texting with him just last night. He's rehabbing it. And they're going pretty hard trying to get it rehabbed. He wants to get back. But coming out, that was a pretty gruesome knee injury, and it set him back. So for him, I think it's just making sure the timing's right, not pushing it too hard. And the new coaching staff, Kellen Moore, everyone's pretty excited about him. So they're saying take your time as well. But, Taysom's a competitor. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back sooner than even he expected because he's not the type of guy who can just sit there on the sidelines and watch his fellow teammates go to work. He wants to be out there. So he says it's nice and hot down there in New Orleans, but they're getting the work in. So he's definitely chomping the bit, excited to get back out there.
Listen, he needs 57 more receiving yards to become the only player to have over 1,000 passing, rushing, and receiving yards in the Super Bowl era. That's going to get him into the Hall of Fame. That stat alone might get him into the Hall of Fame.
That's nuts to me.
Yeah, so unbelievable.
We're hoping he bounces back quickly. BYU TV football analyst David Nixon on the Wise Guys, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. In our final minutes together, Nix, the 5 questions is presented by Strategy Square. Let Chantal give your business a boost on social media. Visit strategysquare.co. Your top 5 storylines heading into fall camp. They can be 5-1 or 1-5.
I'm going 5-1. I'm starting with the least one I'm excited about. I already kind of previewed this. It's the quarterback battle. We already know. We already know it's a storyline. So I'm going to put it at 5 just to get it done.
Number 5 for quarterback battle. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, normally it'd be number 1, but it's so front and center. We're just going to put it at 5 and just be done with it,
right? Yeah.
For me, number 4 is going to my linebacker spot. Harrison Taggart departs in the offseason. Who becomes that signal caller there at the middle linebacker position? Obviously, Siale Serra is the front runner, but Miles Hall, you look at him, he played in 7 games last year. Who's going to emerge there? That middle linebacker, traditionally, that's the guy making the calls, right? And he's the one getting the defense set up. So it's an essential spot. I like Siale Serra. I mean, watching his game, he's pretty dominant at that position. But can somebody give him a run for his money? And that's where I think Miles Hall comes into play. We'll see. So number 4 for me is kind of the middle linebacker spot specifically. Number 3 for me is the secondary. And I bring up the secondary because one of the top-ranked interception teams in the country have caused the turnovers. Jacob Robinson, I saw a report today that he's killing the training camp for the 49ers.
Yeah.
But who builds in for him? And you need a lockdown corner. You need a guy that can put your best dude on their best dude and go mano-a-mano and see who can come out on top. Obviously, Maury Bamba, Evan Johnson, Trey Alexander, those are names that come to mind. But for me, it's you find that lockdown corner, even that slot, the position where you cover up the slot, kind of a nickel, if you will. But got to find out who those secondary dudes are, right? Because you take out Mark Collins, you take out Jacob Robinson. Who are going to be those guys that step up? Of course, some experience coming back, like we stated, with those 3 guys. But who's going to become the guy there?
That's 3, right? So what's 2 now?
All right, number 2, I'm moving to the running back room. And this one's kind of one where it's like, well, scratching your head a little bit. For me, it is all about finding a 1,000-yard rusher. So when was BYU's last year to have a 1,000-yard rusher? Do you guys know?
I can't even remember.
Well, it had to be Algier, right?
Was it Tyler? Yeah.
Nice job, Dave. 2021. Tyler Algier, 1,600 yards. BYU hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher since. I mean, that's 4 going on, 5 years? This is 2025, so 4 years.
Yeah.
BYU's got to find a way, especially when you talk about kind of more inexperienced quarterbacks and getting their first starts. You need somebody to take the load off the shoulders of that quarterback. And the easiest way to do that is in a dominant running game. And that's where I think LJ's got to step up. Moa Aoga, kind of who emerges. As we know, injuries at that position happen all the time. LJ's been injury prone a little bit. So which guy emerges there and becomes the dude? That's what I'm keeping an eye on. That for me is number 2, because once again, you take into account the quarterback situation. You got to have a strong running game in order to take that load off.
That's a good number 2.
That's a good one. Yeah. And LJ finally healthy for a whole year, so he looks good. And then I like the 1-2 punch of he and Sione Moa. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, what's number 1?
Well, we touched on it a little bit ago, and for me, it's all about the D-line. And guys, going away from kind of the personnel, BYU is one of the worst in the country in sacks per game. So BYU averaged like a sack and a half per game. Ole Miss led the country at 4 sacks per game. And so BYU's got to find more production there. And I get it. BYU's, they create enough pressure to create some interceptions. Obviously, BYU went top in the country. But for me, it's getting home. Got to find a way to get some guys who are bona fide ballers to get in the backfield. And, yeah, quarterback hurries are great, but got to find a way to get home and get them on the ground because, as we know, 2nd and 17 is much more difficult than 2nd and 10, and it shrinks that playbook. You've now got to kind of go outside of what your plan was there. So for me, it's finding dudes to get home. And listen, you can have different rotations. You can have certain guys that are your 1st and down type rushers, and then you have your 3rd down guys who are going to get out to quarterback. So just find that right mix. Kelly Papinga, we look at what he's done with those guys at the ends. And of course, you see what Jay Hill's done as far as schematic wise goes, getting guys involved. I'm confident they'll have the right dudes ready. But I just want to see somebody step up in camp. I want to see somebody out there just tearing up this offensive line and kind of imposing their will and saying, hey, I'm that guy.
Can it be like the olden days, and can it be outside backers that are coming off the edge, like with you and Keel? And because I think that's the answer.
I think with Glasgow, 100%. With Glasgow and Kelly, there's ways to get them involved in the rush game, no doubt. But you got to have, once they see those outside backers creeping up, if you don't have dominant DNs that they've got to respect, then they'll just come out there and they'll double team the outside backers and try to single block the ends. Now, I will say this, having Keanu Tanuvasa and Justin Kirkland, that helps. Those guys are going to demand some double teams. So it should free up those DNs to have a heyday.
Nice.
Those are 5 awesome storylines, Nick. We will see you tomorrow as we tape after further review and kick off our 12th season together, which is a thrill for all of us to hang out together in that fashion, and then the season around the corner. Thanks for joining us tonight.
I love it. Football's finally here, fellas.
Have fun in practice tonight, brother.
Thank you, sir.
How about that? Not a shock that 3 of his top 5 storylines are defensive.
Yeah, of course they are.
Because that's how he rolls. But
you know what? When you're great on defense, you're good. You're in every game. You never get blown off. You always have a chance to win when you're great on defense. Now you have to score to win,
and sometimes the defense does that too.
I get it. I think BYU won a lot of games because they were really good on defense last year. So it's okay. He's a D guy. He's a linebacker guy.
5:00 tomorrow. On the BYU TV app, the season premiere of After Further Review, the touchdown show with Nix and the two of us. That's going to be awesome. We'll visit with BYU soccer coach Jen Rockwood in just a bit. We remind you, Wise Guys is presented by
Brady Plus. Supplies plus support. Learn more at bradyplus.com. And by Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. See how Eddie can serve your team at eddie.com. And by Mountain America Credit Union, empowering dreams for over 80 years. Find out what they can do for you at macu.com. And let's not forget, Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News.
First of all, it's cool that we're distributed by the Deseret News. No one else has that.
Right.
And then we'll put a story in there, and they put embedded clips from our show, and they send it to the world.
We love it.
Because we feed the world at the Wise Guys.
That's right. And hey, we love it. We've been following the chat all night here, and we love it. It's just global. They're all over the world. BYU fans and Cougar Nation is all over the world, and we love that you guys are interacting with one another and interacting with us while we're doing this show.
NFL training camps are open. The Lions and Chargers play Thursday night on NBC.
Can you believe it?
And then football is on TV now every week until after the Super Bowl. And so we're excited about that. And that got us thinking, all right, there's a lot of Cougars trying to get on teams in the NFL. And there's a lot of Cougars who are on teams that aren't going to be knocked off during training camp.
We'll start with guys that are like, this isn't even a question.
So we're going to run down the list, and then we'll kind of keep tabs on them over the next month, see what they're doing.
Yeah. So let's start with no question whatsoever that these guys they're not just on these teams, they're stars on these teams. Some of them are the best player in the league at their position. Let's start with Fred Warner and the 49ers.
Puka Nacua came in on a go-kart to Rams camp. He's got big expectations. So Puka's making $1 million this year.
Yeah.
Right? The biggest receivers in the game are making a fortune.
Yeah.
But Puka's contract a year from now is going to be for a fortune. So he's got to go out, he's got to play hard, he's got to earn it, and he might end up with the richest receiver contract in the history of the NFL in a year.
If he plays like he has the last couple of years, he's got a chance.
That's nuts.
So there's 2 no misses. We got one other no miss right here, maybe more than one. Kyle Van Noy back with the Ravens, where his sack totals were the best of his entire career last year.
Yeah.
And he's very comfortably there in that 3-4 defense where he comes off the edge. Man, he has been productive, and at his age, it's remarkable.
Probably won't see a lot of those 3 during the preseason, maybe a little bit for a couple plays. We will see Zach Wilson, who's cutting his teeth with the Dolphins, and I looked at the depth chart. He's firmly the number 2
and
behind Tua.
Yeah, and I saw an interview with him on KSL television last night on their Sunday night sports night, and he just said he's thrilled that the offensive staff, quarterback coach, the way they think there, they build confidence in their quarterbacks. He's really feeling comfortable with the offense. Like he feels like he's being developed, and he's very, very excited about being in this offense and his opportunity with the Dolphins. So that was fun to hear from Zach. So.
Tyler Algier with the Falcons. He's going to split carries again with Robinson. Robinson's really touted as one of the high-ranked fantasy football players, and if that's the case, that's not great for Algier, who just needs to go to the Chiefs and get the ball all the time.
Yeah.
He'd be perfect in that.
I know. Well, although maybe playing kind of part-time, he's secure there, and maybe that prolongs his career a few years. I don't know. So, but certainly Tyler's a productive guy when he's on the field. Taysom Hill with the Saints. He's still recovering. He's still on the unable to physically perform list, but
he's at practice.
Yeah, and we just talked to Nick about it, and Nick says that it's like a day-to-day thing, but expects him to be back. So
Kyrus Tonga is on the Patriots, and they have big plans for him on that defensive line.
He's a block eater on that defensive line. He's an established player in the league now. I don't think there's any question that he's there. And Kingsley Suamataia.
It's a big year for him.
Yeah, Kansas City Chiefs. This is a year he needs to step up and really show that he belongs, right?
Blake Freeland back with the Colts.
Yeah, he's
settling in, monster.
Established.
We saw Blake at the golf event. He's a mountain of a man.
He is a humongous human. How about the fact that he played quarterback in high school?
Yeah.
Great athlete that played quarterback, and he's well established. Ryan Rico with the Bengals. We said his entire time here he's an NFL punter.
Remember, he got the job after the Bengals punter got hurt, and then he was awesome all season long. And by nature of the NFL is, what have you done for me lately? If it's good, you're a guy.
He's the guy.
So,
and here's the thing: a miss by him goes further than most people's perfectly contacted ball. He just has such a giant leg.
And he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Wish him the best.
So Caleb Etienne with the Bengals.
Trying to make it there.
Yeah, he's there with Rico. And we know he has all the size and all the physical skills. And it's going to be about timing and really showing well here in fall camp for Caleb.
Jacob Robinson's over at the 49ers. We've read that he's been turning a lot of heads.
Yeah.
It's tough to win a job in the NFL as an undrafted free agent, but if there's a guy who can do it in that system, maybe it's him.
Yeah, he's got such great technique, and he's such a good man-to-man cover guy, and his ball skills are like off the chart. So we are hearing he's turning a lot of heads, which is great, and Jacob's got a chance there. Brady Christensen with the Panthers, he's just an established guy there. Like there's no question Brady's their guy there.
Tyler Batty with the Vikings, they got plans for him. He's got to earn it. It'll be tough, but Batty had a great season last year, and we'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, you're going to have to play with that mentality. It's that kind of full go every play mentality to make that team. Max Tooley, it's nice to have a teammate there as a teammate with the Vikings that was a teammate at BYU. Max Tooley's with the Vikings.
Keaton Slova still with the Texans, trying to get in there in that quarterback mix.
Yeah. Zane Anderson with the Packers.
Yeah.
So Zane's surprised everybody with the length of his career. He's been really, really good, but he was a crazy athlete when he was here at BYU, and I think maybe underrated because he didn't play till later in his career. But he's fashioned himself a very nice career in the NFL.
Chris Brooks is trying to stay on with the Packers.
Yep, that's
Ran
right.
for a few yards last season. And then there are a list of guys who are waiting to get on with teams, and there's some big names on that list.
Yeah, Jamal Williams. Let's start the list with Jamal. Jamal's a proven entity in the league, and he hasn't signed with a team yet. Maybe he's just waiting for camp to a few players to have a little bit of attrition in camp and not have to go through all of camp.
And he's expensive now because he's a veteran.
Right.
And so those aren't cheap. Jaron Hall waiting for a team. Michael Davis.
Yeah, Michael Davis has been a starter at corner in this league for a long time.
Yeah.
So
and Sione Taki.
Yeah, who also has been a starter in this league. So you got Jamal Williams who's been a starter, Michael Davis has been a starter, and Sione Taki who have been starters in the league. And you would think that before it's all said and done, guys with that kind of experience will find a place.
Yeah, especially Jamal.
Right.
Give me a guy who can get in the end zone from the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
Bring him in. Our Cougar Board question of the week is from Dilbert, one of their insider subscribers. If you're not familiar with Cougar Board, it's the largest online chat in the free world in regards to BYU sports. And it's been hopping lately because there's a lot to talk about.
Right.
And with camp starting, there will be a lot more to talk about. So there's a lot of opinions on there. And Dilbert asked a question about the tight ends. There's Carson Ryan, who we all know about, a transfer from Utah. He's expected to do big things. But Dilbert's wondering about the guys behind him.
Right. And so Carson Ryan's the guy. Ethan Erickson, who was really making great progress at tight end. He's long, athletic. He kind of be an every down player like Carson Ryan, where he can, BYU's had situations in the last few years where they're very situational with their tight end. So here comes the pass receiving tight end. Oh, this is the run blocking tight end. And they want guys that can put their hand on the ground and play every down, and you don't know what they're going to do based on the personnel that are out on the field. Carson Ryan is one of those guys. Ethan Erickson struggled with some injuries, but he's back and healthy. So expect things out of Ethan this year. Noah Moeaki is the other. And then here's a name that maybe you haven't heard much about that I think we're going to be talking about before the season's over, and that's Keanu Tanuvasa. So you'll remember BYU's former All-American Spencer Need, tight end, moved to fullback in the NFL.
Right.
He was the blocking back for the greatest show on turf with the Los Angeles or with the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
That Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, that crazy productive offensive team. Unsung heroes just plowing the road for Marshall Faulk, right? This is Spencer's nephew, and he's built a lot like Spencer, just a truck, like a big, strong, physical dude that can block like an offensive tackle. But he also, you can put his hand on the ground, and on a 3rd and 5, he can release, get downfield, play off of contact, running out. He's got a big catch radius. He'll catch the ball. He'll get you first down. He can be a chain mover. I think he's going to play a big role for BYU this year. Keanu Need.
That is the Cougar Board question of the week. Before we get to Jen Rockwood, want to remind you, Wise Guys is proud to be a Thrive sponsor for the upcoming Ephraim Hope Charity Golf Tournament. That's Tuesday, August 5th, just around the corner at Cedar Hills Golf Club. Going to be an incredible day. Shotgun start at 8 a.m., scramble format, raffle prizes, a nice lunch. Most notable is the cause to help children in Uganda attend private school. And you can still sign up at ephraimhope.org. The link will be in the chat, but it's ephraimhope.org. Our next guest is ready to kick off her 31st year as head coach of BYU soccer, and keeping with tradition, she doesn't start a new season without first returning to the Wise Guys. Our pleasure to welcome back head coach Jen Rockwood. Summer's over. We're ready to go. How you feeling?
I feel great. I can't believe it's that time of year already. The summer completely flew by. We just finished camps last week. And so here we go. We start tomorrow morning, so we're real excited.
What's the most exciting thing you did in the off season? Was it camps, or did you go do something fun? What was the off season thrill this year?
I went on the BYU cruise.
Yeah,
so
I know. I was there with you.
Yeah, took my mom, so that was fun. Obviously, our team went to New Zealand. I don't know if you heard about that trip, but we went 2 weeks on a service project trip to New Zealand. Took the whole team and staff, and so that was quite an amazing experience. And then just came in and focused and gutted through our summer camps. We get so many great kids that come through those camps, and like I said, just finished up last week. So it's camp season. That's what we do every summer.
So often we see, typically basketball teams do European tours, and that's where they go and bond, which volleyball's done it too. Did you feel that the soccer team got that done as well with those couple of weeks out there doing something other than soccer?
Yeah, absolutely. We do the foreign trips too, and this is the first time we've done one where we actually didn't play soccer.
Yeah.
And so I think there was a more spiritual component to it and a more service component, and it was a really neat experience. It's the first time we've kind of done something like that. We got to work a lot with the different young men and women over at the church in New Zealand, and we did like 4 different soccer camps for underprivileged kids, and just had a really great time connecting with people.
And when you do something like that, you mentioned you didn't get to play soccer, but there can be value in team chemistry and all that actually shows up on the field, even though you didn't play soccer. Is that true? Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, it's 100% the case. When these girls get an opportunity to be in an environment like that and get to know each other at a deeper personal level, I think, that culture component and that knowing your teammates better, especially with our new freshmen that were able to come with us, just to get to know them a little bit better. I think you'll see that on the field. You see that in practice every day, that love and that trust and that bond that is built through experiences like that, especially when you add a spiritual component. When our girls were sharing their testimonies, they were giving devotionals. It's just a kind of a whole other level of team bonding.
Coach, let's play a game called What Stat Are You Most Proud Of? We'll give you a group of 3, and then you pick the favorite.
Okay.
All right, Blaine, you ready?
Okay, we're going to start with, so this is, which are you most proud of? And here, it's A, B, and C, so multiple choice. You're ranked number 3 in career winning percentage at 74.8. That's one, or A. B is you're number 5 in Division I active victories with 464. Wow. Or C, you are number 9 all-time in career wins. So is it number 3 in winning percentage, number 5 in Division I active victories, or number 9 all-time in career wins? What are you most proud of?
I think probably number 9 overall wins. It encompasses all of the great teams that I've had over my 31 years. all the great athletes that we've had, and it's been quite a ride. And I think that's a lot of wins for a career, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is amazing.
BYU soccer coach Jen Rockwood's on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus, Mountain America Credit Union, and Eddie, and distributed by the Deseret News. We're playing the game, what stat are you most proud of? Here's question number 2. Which are you most proud of? A, your teams have reached the NCAA tournament in 25 of 30 years. B, BYU's reached the College Cup twice since 2021. Or C, the team was ranked number 1 during the 2021 season.
Ooh, that's a tough one between the first two.
Yeah.
Super proud going to the tournament all of those years. Anybody involved in a team sport know how hard it is to get to postseason play. But I think the thing that most recently we've been super proud of is our 2 trips to the Final Four. I think that's something that every college coach in any sport strives to get to, is to play for an opportunity for a national championship. And, we were really close many years leading up until 2021, I think was the year we played for Florida State. So I'd say B.
B. Okay.
I like it. I like it.
Good.
It's the echelon. It's the top echelon of the sport.
These questions get harder, by the way.
Yeah, here's question 3. Which are you most proud of? A, your program has produced 22 All-Americans. B, BYU has had 28 winning seasons. C, the program has 11 Conference Players of the Year award winners.
That's cool. I think I'll go with the middle one because it encompasses all more players, I guess,
whole team.
right?
The whole team with 28 winning seasons. That's a good one.
Okay. All right.
Those are all, by the way, those are impressive.
Yeah, there's
Every
no
one
wrong
of these
answers
are
here.
crazy stats.
Here's question 4, and this will wrap up our game. Which fact is most maddening? A, BYU has had 15 ties over the last 3 years. B, BYU's had 15 ties over the last 3 years. Or C, those 15 ties over the last 3 years.
Yeah, that's an easy one. I'll take A, B, and C. But so that is something that is always a frustration. I think for our sport in general, nobody likes to tie. You do all that work and you play all those minutes, and I don't know, you don't feel like there's a real final result to it. And it cost us probably a Big 12 championship.
Yeah.
2 of those ties cost us a Big 12 championship a couple of years ago. So we just got to score more goals. That's the key. You got to score more goals.
Got to score more goals. BYU soccer coach Jen Rockwood on the Wise Guys, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. The podcast will be available tomorrow wherever you get your podcasts. Your Cougars are on the field Saturday night in the blue-white game. What kind of group do you expect this season? And I'm going to preface this with, I remember when you guys went to the Big 12 and you came on the show, and you said, our expectation is we're going to compete for a Big 12 championship right now. We want to play in Final Fours. That's what we want to do. Just know that we love that you step up and just own that.
And say stuff.
So with that, what do we expect out of this season from this group?
We expect to go out and win a Big 12 championship.
I love it.
For sure. We had a really young team last year and still finished 4th in the Big 12 with probably the youngest team we've ever had at BYU. So we return all of those players, plus we add some really great players to it. And so I think we'll definitely be better on both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively. We'll have great leadership out there, some more experience. So there's a lot to play for sure this year. We're really excited to get going.
When you look at your roster, Ellie Walbrook and Avery Frischknecht, your captains, you got Mackenzie Vance as a senior. Those are 3 key leaders for you. How impactful can they be?
Having Ellie back is going to be huge for us. We definitely missed her last year. She played a major part in our success last year as a leader off the field. And as I know she's going to take all of those experiences that she had last year onto the field. She looks fantastic right now, really excited. I think she gives us a lot of energy, a lot of confidence and enthusiasm and personality on the field. And Avery, she had a great year last year as leading our back line. As a center back, and obviously Mac too has become more and more of an attacking player, and those 3 have also worked really hard over the summer, as well as all the girls, to prepare for our first match.
Is there a newcomer, or I guess return missionaries are newcomers too, but a newcomer or return missionary that you expect we're going to be talking about once the season gets going, and people are going to say, "Oh, whoa, like who's this?" Is there somebody like that that pops in the top of your head?
Yeah, I think having Izzy Stratton back off of her mission and Cameron Jorgensen, we call her Bachi, both of those girls played a lot in our 2023 team that had a lot of success. Izzy, I think, was actually on the Final Four all-tournament team. And so, they came back off their mission, got here back in April. So they've had some time to readjust and get back at it. And I think having that experience on the field will be really, really big for us. So those are two. I think we have some great new freshmen coming in that I think will really add to our depth. We struggled with some depth last year. I think we'll have a lot of different options in different positions and have a lot of great players coming off the bench for us.
Last question for you. 31st year, as we mentioned, that's ready to start here. So that's 30 years you've walked out onto South Field. Have you grown to appreciate it more and more each year when the stands are packed, the students are there, and the vibe is cool?
Yeah, it's just such an amazing place to play, especially for our sport. I think the very best in the country with the support that we get, how beautiful Southfield is, and the style that we play. Every year, my heart starts pumping. I can feel it in my neck through my veins, and I stand on the sideline, and I never get less stressed or feel less pressure, that's for sure. I think it's just every year we expect so much. So that excitement, that adrenaline that kicks in is a lot of fun.
We will be following the team.
We will.
We welcome you back to another season, and congratulations, you survived the summer, and we'll see you Saturday night in the Blue-White game.
We'll be there all year. So.
All right, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Jen.
Thank you, Coach. Jen Rockwood, we recorded that just before we came on the air because the team reported today pictures, team dinner, and some things going on tonight. So she managed a few minutes in there for us to be on the Wise Guys. That Blue-White game Saturday night, 7 o'clock South Field, and that's going to be on ESPN Plus. So your first chance to see the soccer team. They've got an interesting schedule. We want to take a few minutes and roll down it because it's pretty cool, and there's a lot of big name teams coming to town.
Yeah, and they start off with that Blue-White game on Saturday night at 7, as you mentioned. Southern Utah comes to BYU on August 8th. That's an exhibition game, that first one that'll be fun, interstate rivalry or in-state rivalry, followed by another in-state rivalry game on the 9th, Utah Tech at BYU. Those are both exhibition games. It'll be a fun chance to kind of see the whole roster in those two games.
To open the season, they're going to Minnesota in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. That's on August 14th. So that's the official opener. The home opener is against Cal Poly on August 18th, but the real opener.
This is the big game. UCLA comes to BYU on August 23rd. Remember when UCLA came in here, the number one team in the nation, and BYU thumped them a couple years ago?
Yeah, and then BYU was the number one team in the nation.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
So UCLA at South Field on the 23rd. Auburn's coming to BYU on the 29th, and Arkansas is coming to BYU on the 2nd. So what do you got there? You got the Big Ten, you got the SEC twice.
Right.
At your own place.
It's pretty fun. And the Big 12 opener is BYU at Arizona State on September 20th.
Tickets are on sale, BYUtickets.com for soccer. And again, Saturday night, the Blue-White game at Southfield at 7 o'clock. Greg Wrubell, who's going to join us in a couple weeks as we get closer to kickoff here on this show, will be on the call on Saturday on ESPN+. Let's talk about basketball because there's always something to talk about basketball. It's been that kind of a summer.
It seems like there's a roster addition every week, doesn't it?
It's like, I don't know how big this roster is, but it keeps getting bigger.
I keep thinking, how many do they have now?
And the net keeps getting wider as far as where they go find these guys.
Yes.
So Alexei Kosic signs with the Cougars, 6'4" guard. He's currently training with the Austrian national team for the FIBA Men's World Cup 2027 qualifiers. Kevin Young calls him a high-level shooter. He'll be a 20-year-old freshman, and at 6'4", he's going to be out there, and that three-point line is where he likes to be.
And you can never have too many great shooters on a team, right? Especially with length. So, yeah, that's pretty fun. They were a great shooting team this last year, mm-hmm. and now they're adding some length and athleticism. This team could be really, really good this next year. BYU's practicing for the next 3 weeks. How about 4-star TempView product Dean Ruckert, or Ruckert, I guess is how we say it, on his official visit at BYU. He has the Cougars among his top 5 finalists. So they're in the game for everybody.
So here's what's going on today, and just visualize it. The team's at practice. And Ruckert's making his official visit while he's sitting there watching practice.
Right.
And he's looking at AJ and Richie and Rob Wright and this group, and it's like, man, why would you not want to be a part of this group?
Yeah, and BYU has that beautiful practice facility, and it's close to home. Of course, BYU's in his top finalists. Yeah, and so they just.
It should be a no-brainer for him.
They just keep filling up that bucket with talent, don't they?
Yeah, and he's a 4-star kid that they should get. He's played basketball just down the road here at Timpview.
Yep.
And so we'll keep eyes on that one. But the next 3 weeks are these mandatory, the teams together, with the exception of Kosic, who's away. This is it.
Yeah, AJ's back.
These 3 weeks are kind of shape what they got.
Yeah. And then their non-conference schedule was just finalized and announced.
Yeah, and so we thought let's walk you through it now that the dates are done, and we'll give our opinion on some of this stuff.
And we'll get to do a lot of these, so it'll be fun for us to be involved in that. So for ESPN Plus. October 18th at Nebraska. That's an exhibition game. Remember they used to do the secret scrimmages?
Yeah. That weren't really a secret?
No, then we'd hear about them, but they were super double secret.
But they weren't televised.
Right.
Now that's changed.
They had a super secret scrimmage with Stanford last year that we know BYU dominated. So that exhibition is the same day as the Utah at BYU football.
Yeah, and that one's on the road, so there's not that kind of a conflict, but there is a conflict of I got to see both.
Yeah, we want to see both.
Got to see both. So. October 24th, which is a Friday night, North Carolina, BYU at the Delta Center. That also an exhibition game. We think we might be able to get that one.
We might be able to get that one.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't count. All these games are just to get them ready for the next game.
Right, and that next game is down in Vegas, where BYU should be the home team in Vegas, in T-Mobile Arena. That's November 3rd against Villanova.
And we think it's on TNT, but it's either on TNT, TBS. We'll figure out which one.
One of those, right.
So that's the actual opener. Then they come home November 8th. That's the same day as BYU at Texas Tech, and they'll play Holy Cross at the Marriott Center. We'll see if the football game's in the day and then basketball's at night, or if they go, football's at night, basketball's in the day. But that'll be a fun one to call because it'll be the first time that Cougar fans can see this team in the Marriott Center.
Right. And likely we would have both of those, right? Like we would do the pre- and post-game show for football, and hopefully they work it out so that we can call that basketball game as well.
Day.
So
big day.
November 11th, they have Delaware at home.
Then the 15th is UConn at TD Garden in Boston. That's the same day as the TCU at BYU football game. Talk about a mega day.
That's a big day.
Yeah. So we'll have football at the stadium and UConn, BYU at the Garden.
Yeah, UConn's been a great program the last decade, haven't they?
Yeah.
So November 21st, Wisconsin. That game's a Friday night game at the Delta Center.
That'll be big. That'll be a network game.
Yeah.
That's a big one. November 27th and 28th, they go to Orlando for the Terry's Chocolate ESPN Invitational, Dayton, Georgetown, and Miami. They'll get 2 games, Thanksgiving Day and then the following day. And so we haven't seen the matchup for Thanksgiving Day yet, but it's going to be one of those 3 teams.
Right. And then December 3rd, Cal Baptist at the Delta Center again. So
Delta Center, because Christmas around the world
is in Marriott Center.
in the Marriott Center. So if you're going to play a game, it's nice to have an NBA venue as your backup plan.
And we should have that one.
Yeah,
Cal
hope so. December 9th is Clemson at Madison Square Garden. That'll be on ESPN.
Yeah, that's a great venue. It's just such a historic place to play, and that's not lost on these players. And a good ACC opponent. So December 13th, UC Riverside at home.
And they'll stay home for the holidays. Pacific on the 16th. Pacific out of the old WCC.
Right. And then December 19th, Abilene Christian. And then they round out the non-conference December 23rd at home against Eastern Washington. So some big ones there in the middle of that. And they don't play a true road game.
No, not non-conference.
No, that's what I'm saying. They don't.
So, hey.
Not the at Nebraska is an exhibition, right?
Yeah.
So, but North Carolina and Delta, that's an exhibition. They're neutral site. Their big games are neutral sites, and then the rest are at home.
You get the feeling that's the wave of the future.
Yeah, I think so.
Teams don't want to go play on another team's floor, but they'll play them on a neutral setting where their fans get equal shot at tickets.
Right.
And BYU's more likely to. No one wants to go play UConn at UConn.
Right.
We'll play at the Garden.
Sure.
No one wants to go to Clemson, but we'll play them at Madison Square
And
Garden.
I wonder will Villanova people travel to Vegas for a game. You and I have always said Vegas is a good place to do neutral site football games and neutral site basketball
it's built
games.
for it. The airport's convenient. There's a lot of places to eat, and then there's shows and stuff. People
will travel.
A couple other notes on the schedule: the games at the Delta Center are not part of the normal season ticket package. That's different. They're being considered neutral game sites, and details on when you can buy those seats will be released in the coming weeks. But here's the thing. Marriott Center, I believe, is all sold out. If it's not, it's about to be. And it's expensive. Ticket prices went up, and a lot of the general public doesn't have access because Cougar Club people bought them all up in all the levels that they have. But these 3 games at the Delta Center, North Carolina, again, exhibition game, Wisconsin, and Cal Baptist, anyone can buy a ticket to,
right,
including fans from those teams. So if you got shut out of the Marriott Center situation, you can still go. I'm going to see them 3 times.
Right.
And I'm going to see them at the Delta Center. And instead of forking over the chunk for season tickets, you can just buy individual tickets and take your family up there. And it's an alternative, to where you can see the Cougars live.
Yeah, and you can make it a big night or a big day. You go up to Salt Lake City, do some fun things around town, go out to a great dinner someplace, and go to the game. So
that part is interesting, and then the fact that there's 3 games up there, the Utes can't be happy about that.
Right? No, not at all.
We're playing to more fans in Salt Lake than they'll play at their own place.
Right.
Times about 5. So the Cougars are taking over Salt Lake and making it their home. Some administration news since we were together last, and it popped out late last week, late last Monday after we were off the air. But a couple of notables. For one, Travis Hansen is the new Senior Associate Athletic Director. He'll oversee revenue sharing and NIL operations for the entire department. We had an interview with Travis. You can see it at wiseguys.com, our most recent interview with him. I love that he's in the mix because I believe he's got an understanding of how it all works with NIL and foreign players and what you got to do to get one, because he was over there for 10 years and he played a key role with Yegor, and it just seems like the timing's right for someone who knows that stuff.
Well, and here's the other thing. Travis is not just a basketball guy. He's clearly a basketball guy who's played at the professional level in Europe and the United States in the NBA with the Atlanta Hawks. Was actually considered for the general manager's job at the Hawks.
President's job.
Yeah, president's job with the Hawks. So, but he's also a businessman. He started a bunch of businesses. He's run multi-million-dollar businesses. And frankly, college athletics is a business right now. So to have somebody that has basketball experience and sports experience, but also has extensive business experience is huge. Travis is going to play a very important role in this administration. And I think it's great that they bring him in. And he's a BYU guy.
Yeah, through and through.
So that's fun. And Travis is a dear friend of ours, a friend of the show, and we're really excited for Travis.
Kalani Sitake and Diljit Taylor, as if they don't have enough to do. They are now senior associate athletic directors in addition to coaches, and they'll help with department strategy and impact. Like, we should have more money, and this will be the impact. But
yeah, it's
just
interesting.
Bring in some voices from coaches.
It's a bad time to just bend Kalani's ear, but I get to once in a while, and I was going to ask him what the whole impetus behind that is.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Like, there's got to be a reason why they're doing that.
And maybe they want maybe they're the reps from the coaches.
Right.
Hey,
it represents the coaches on the board.
What do you guys think?
And maybe that's what it is, and they should have a voice. Regardless of whether they have that title or not, Diljit and Kalani should have a voice, right? But maybe what they're saying is, hey, let's have a formal structure of this. But I'd be really interested to talk to Kalani and to Diljit and find out what their thought is on this new thing. So
Chad Lewis promoted to Senior Associate Athletic Director over Development. He'll join the Wise Guys on August 18th.
Yep, that's
Looking
great.
Looking forward to that.
And congrats to Chad, like well-deserved. And he was one of the finalists for the athletic director's job. So
yeah, great
that they could keep Brian and Chad both in the fold. So
someday, Chad Lewis could be president of BYU.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. We thought it would fit in an athlete, but it might be a different role for him. And maybe it's just to be the president of BYU when President Reese's term has run out. But he's that kind of guy.
Yep,
he's going to do something big. That might be it.
Yep.
That might be it. Speaking of doing something big, how about Heather Olmstead?
Yes, how about it? So Heather Olmstead, she's the head coach of the USA national team under 21. They just competed in the U21 Pan Am Cup in Costa Rica. They didn't lose a single set in the entire tournament, and they won the gold medal.
How about that?
Yeah. Congratulations to Heather. Phenomenal job.
She's going to join us on the show in August.
Yeah, one of the great coaches in volleyball, period.
Yeah.
At any level.
And maybe she'll bring her gold medal to the show.
You know what? Let's tell her to bring it.
That'd be the first gold medal on Weiss.
You got to tell her to bring it.
Let's do that. By the way, this Friday night is movie night at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. So they're playing Wicked on the big screen.
On the giant. It's not a Jumbotron. It's a Giantron.
Giantron. 8 o'clock, free admission. Steaks and camping chairs are not allowed because it's right there on the field.
Right. Just bring a
blanket and some pillows. And we did that last year when remember the Titans were playing. So they're doing Wicked on Friday night. So if you're looking for something fun and something free and get inside the stadium where it's always fun to be, that's Friday night.
Great environment. And Wicked is good. Have you seen it?
No, I didn't see the movie.
If we were, I'm going to be in Seattle
Friday night. It's like a 3-hour part 1, right?
Yeah, if I wasn't going to be in Seattle, I would be there because it is so good. And then part 2's coming out Thanksgiving, so you got to brush up on part 1 again if you've already seen it.
It's like flashbacks of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Yeah. It's like 3 hours long, and then there's halftime.
Yeah, when we were in London. A car's driving down the street, and it's got some London guards by it.
I saw the picture you sent.
And it's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I'm like, that's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
It didn't fly, though? It was just driving?
No, it was just driving down the street. But it was going... You know how it does, so...
Hey, let's roll out of here with On This Day on July 28th. First of all, I can't believe it's July 28th because we were doing this show in May, and we thought, it's a long summer till we get July 28th and the start of AFR and the start of camp and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, we're here.
And believe me, there was no lack of news over those months that are usually dead months.
Yeah.
Because basketball had something going on, football, everybody had something going on. So it was fun.
Yeah. So here we are on this day on July 28th.
Let's start with 1896 because we always like to go home.
We like to go back.
We go back a century or more. The city of Miami was incorporated.
In 1900, the hamburger was created by Louis Lassing in Connecticut.
I thought it was, I thought it was the McDonald's guys, but evidently not.
Ronald didn't come over, I don't think. I don't think he was here yet.
1900, the hamburger. Thank goodness they invented that.
Yeah.
1928, on July 28th, the Summer Olympics opened in Amsterdam. Have you been to Amsterdam? Mm-mm. It's a really cool city.
I've been to, what's the closest thing to it in Vegas?
Oh, no.
You got Venice, you got the Venetian.
Is there an Amsterdam hotel
Paris. It feels like they got something in there.
Well, it's a city of canals. It's really, really beautiful. And in the springtime when the tulip fields are just full of blossoms, it's amazing. So,
how about on this day in 1933, the first singing telegram?
Whoever thought of that? Brilliant.
Which means that there was never a singing telegram on record before.
No, not before 1933. That same year, 1933, on this date, the NFL divided into a pair of 5-team divisions. So 10 teams in the league back in those days.
On this day in 1951, Walt Disney released the animated film Alice in Wonderland. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't understand it when I saw it as a kid, and I don't understand it today.
No, I think you have to be on drugs to understand it.
I think you're right.
So, in 1989, on this day, July 28th, Dale Murphy hit a pair of 3-run home runs in the same inning for the Braves. In the same inning. I didn't say the same game. I said the same inning.
He got jobbed, too, when it came to the Hall of Fame.
Is there still a chance, or have they just gone past that?
I have a feeling that it's closed.
Which is crazy. Yeah. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
3 home runs in the same inning. In 1994, the Braves, or not the Braves, he hit home runs for the Braves. In 1994, on this day, the baseball players, including the Braves, they all went on strike. And that was something because that was when there was nothing in the summer except baseball, and then they go on strike, and it's like, are you sure you should have done that? Because we're going to go find something else to do.
Yeah.
And the game, let's be honest, as a Cub fan even, the game for the most part is not that exciting.
No.
And if it's not a team you love on TV, you're out.
Yeah.
Anyway, they went on strike in 94 on this day.
Crazy. In 1995, on July 28th, Art Modell began secret discussions to move the Cleveland Browns from Cleveland to Baltimore and become the Ravens.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah,
That's when it started.
That was wild.
July 28th, birthdays. On this day in 1920, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis.
Jackie O.
Former First Lady. That must have been 1929.
It's 1929.
Yeah, I could put 1829.
Yeah. 1945.
She's like, I'm not that old. I'm old, but I'm not that old.
Jim Davis, the cartoonist that did Garfield, was
Garfield,
born
the
on
big fat cat.
Yeah, Garfield.
On this day in 1951, Doug Collins, former NBA player, head coach, and broadcaster, he had the trifecta.
Yeah, he did it all. 1969, Dana White, the head of UFC. I flew on a plane next to Dana White, up in the first row in first class.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
He down my days in Vegas when UFC was coming on, he saw the vision of that, and he's turned that thing into a monster. On this day, July 28th death, 1741, Antonio Vivaldi, a composer.
Oh, Vivaldi. In 1750, on July 28th, Johann Sebastian Bach. We went with a composer theme for deaths.
It wasn't a good day for composers.
Yeah.
July 28th. Our Wise Guys inspirational quote of the week is from Wolfgang Puck.
Is this because we were talking about hamburgers earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
Because hamburgers were invented on this day in 1900 by Louis Lassing in Connecticut.
So here's what Wolfgang Puck said. Burgers, the perfect balance of simplicity and satisfaction.
That sounds like Wolfgang Puck, doesn't it?
Simplicity and satisfaction. That's what a burger is.
I've eaten one of his burgers, and for whatever reason, his food tastes better than, I don't know what it is. So you just go, why does this taste
There's a bunch of
different?
Wolfgang Puck down in Vegas where you lived for a number of years.
Yeah,
and we've probably
Wolfgang
hit
Puck.
every one of those restaurants, haven't we?
And I told you the story that I shared a limo with Wolfgang Puck when we were both on Good Morning America the same day.
So you were on a limo with Wolfgang Puck, and I was sitting in first class with Dana White.
Yeah, we get around.
Brushes with greatness.
We're the Wise Guys. That's how we roll. Thanks to David Nixon and Jen Rockwood, our guest tonight. Next week, Riley Nelson, Mitch Matthews, and Harvey Scott of Redmond. How about that lineup? We got a quarterback, we got a receiver, and we've got a special guest in Harvey Scott who's doing a lot of things with athletics, and he's going to do some things with Wise Guys.
Yeah, he's done a lot, very involved with athletics and NIL and all that stuff. So he's going to be a fun guest. So also in August, Hans Olsen will be on, Austin Colley, Brandon Doman, Chad Lewis, Greg Rebell, and Heather Olmstead, as you mentioned just a little bit ago.
That's a blockbuster lineup. That's how we roll on the Wise Guys.
Yeah, got a great August lined up for you.
Here's where you can find us this week.
Yeah, I'll be on AFR tomorrow. I'm on Sports Nation tomorrow morning.
Oh, good.
And then I'm co-hosting Sports Nation on Thursday.
Make sure you plug the show.
Yeah, and then you're doing AFR tomorrow, and you're on Sports Nation on Friday. And then Deseret News all week.
Yeah, so now we're back to being all over the place.
Yeah. Like I looked at my calendar this week and I went, whoa.
Yeah.
It's football season again.
It's football season. Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, supplies plus support by Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. See how Eddie can serve your team at Eddie.com, and by Mountain America Credit Union, empowering dreams for over 80 years. Find out what they can do for you at macu.com. Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. Let's end with an answer to Larry's question, even though, Larry, we started the show with this question. So, Blaine, who's Blaine going to start at quarterback against Portland State? That's what Larry wants to know.
Remember, you said if we played tomorrow.
Or like in 15 minutes.
I would start McCae Hillstead.
And then if we played in 2 weeks.
It might be Treyson by then.
And then if we played in 6 weeks on August 30th.
It could be Bear by then.
There you go, Larry.
So Larry, here's the problem. Bear's new. And Treyson and McCae, neither of them established that they were the leader for the number 2 spot coming out of spring ball. So it is an actual, and we're not just saying this time, it's an actual 3-man competition where for the first 7 to 10 days of camp, they're going to get equal reps. They're going to go against the first team, the second team, the third team with equal reps, and one of them is going to step up. And I don't know who it is. I actually don't know.
And on next week's show, we'll let you know how it's going.
We'll know more.
We'll let you know how it's going.
There you go.
We'll both see you tomorrow on After Further Review, and next week for more Wise Guys. And now we're really picking up some steam.
And so, we should answer Russ's question. But you know what? I think Michael Zimmerman answered the question, because Russ has asked a couple times here. We were really high on our offensive line 2 years ago, and we weren't good. I'm just going to give you 2 words. Now I'll just give you 1 word. TJ.
TJ Woods.
And I think Michael is right. TJ Woods is the difference. We have a phenomenal line coach, and these guys are bought in. This is year 2 of TJ Woods. You watch how good this offensive line is.
Hey, and on Thursday night, you can turn on NBC and watch an NFL game.
Yep.
Now, none of the players will, we probably won't recognize any of the players, but they'll have helmets on.
Are you ready for some football? I am.
And we're ready for some football. We're ready for practice. And we're ready to say goodnight. And I'll tell you what, Wise Guys, or after further review tomorrow.
Yep.
You won't want to miss that.
Yep.
That's going to be a lot of
It'll
fun.
be really fun. Touchdown show tomorrow. Check it out.
See you guys.
See ya.